Hello and welcome to today's episode of Comms Business Live, where we'll be looking at digital transformation in the channel. I'm Charlotte, editor of Comms Business, and I'm delighted to be joined by Ryan Martin, head of indirect at ANS, and Dave Funnell, senior manager of VMware by Broadcom's cloud provider business. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. So as the digital landscape is continuing to evolve, organisations are adapting to and embracing modern technologies. At the same time, several analyst houses are finding that cloud technology is outpacing other IT markets. And for resellers and MSPs, this means they could find richer opportunities by looking for a partner that can help them navigate and expand on their cloud proposition. So first up, Ryan, can you talk us through the trends that you're seeing around cloud adoption across UK businesses and organisations?
Yeah, thanks, Charlotte. Absolutely delighted to be on today with yourself and Dave. I think, it's probably no secret to your listeners and to us on this call that really we have seen cloud adoption accelerate during that sort of COVID pandemic phase. We're in 2024 and we're still talking about obviously the pandemic, but I think what that gave us at the time was it allowed the majority of UK businesses to actually see a real tangible benefit to adopting cloud-based solutions. So, we went for a period of literally overnight businesses and premises being shut down. But in the main, those businesses that had adopted a cloud strategy at some point prior to that were able to continue to trade and continue to monitor, continue to operate. And I think also, credit to the various channel partners out there and the vendors that those that hadn't went on that digital journey, and they were very quickly able to enable those and get those guys back up and trading. So I think, if we look at sort of key events in sort of digital transformation, the pandemic was one because it probably was the first real en masse tangible benefit that customers could see in terms of adopting a cloud strategy. I think what we now see is continued growth from that. So, to use a bit of a COVID pun, the second wave of that is coming. So essentially we had a number of businesses and partners that quickly mobilized into the cloud because needs must, but now seen those benefits for a period of time. And now it's all about optimizing and maximizing those benefits. So, we moved because we had to. Now we're in there. How can we get the most out of it? And I think that's really where they're looking for those partners to help and guide them on that journey. Looking for a partner that's probably been through that digital transformation journey themselves, seen all the highs and lows. And, it's something that's being talked about in the wider business market. So I think, we've seen some stats recently that by 2025, which is an important year for many reasons, as your listeners will be aware, more than 85% of organizations are looking to embrace a cloud-first strategy. So I think we've had the sort of instigating event, which kind of brought it en masse to everyone. Now we're going to see that second wave. And the most important thing with that is about maximizing and optimizing this opportunity.
Absolutely. And as organisations are adopting the cloud in the ways that you've just talked through, what does that mean for the connectivity and telephony services that those organisations are using?
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. I mean, I do like to talk to, when I talk to some of our channel partners in our partner program, there is a sort of inherent nervousness amongst their sales teams and even themselves talking about cloud. It's viewed as a bit of a sort of a complex sell and a complex solution to deliver. The reality is they've been talking about it for years, whether they've knowingly known they were talking about cloud. So if we look at obviously 2025, which we mentioned being a very important year with the stop sell, these partners have been, speaking to their customers for multiple years now about moving to cloud-based voice services, be that SIP or hosted. So they've had those conversations about cloud. What we're looking to do and how the partner programs can really help them sort of drive that further transition is actually identifying the opportunities outside of just lifting and shifting the voice traffic onto a hosted platform. So really simplifying, you talk to them, you're talking to your customer about cloud, you have them engaged. So what is the wider ecosystem that you could be talking to them about in relation to their cloud-based services as well?
Definitely. And I guess as you've talked through there, it's kind of seeing what the end destination is likely to be and then making sure all the other technologies kind of support that objective.
Yeah, and I think, just on that point around other technologies, I think, we're at a point now from a connectivity player where most businesses in the UK have access to incredible connectivity now. So the underlying bandwidth that they need to deliver these applications and cloud services is there. So it really is now about capitalizing on that.
Definitely. And Dave, if we just bring you in here, so your role at VMware by Broadcom, you work with service providers and their clients to build these working multi-cloud solutions. What characteristics do those solutions need to be delivering?
Right. So as Ryan was saying, he was talking about voice and connectivity. Really, that's just one area of cloud. But above that, what we really care about is applications and delivery of applications. That's what your end user customers care about, the businesses. That's what makes their businesses differentiated, innovate in the market. How quickly can they bring those applications to the market and then successfully deliver those applications, with performance and securely. And they're under a lot of pressure, customers. There's as many applications being developed over the next 4 years as in the previous 40 years. I mean, this is an exponential growth. And they can't deliver IT in the way they were delivering a number of years ago. So that's why cloud, right? Why this rush? And what we've seen is that you had this idea of cloud first, right? Let's just get to the cloud. It was all about speed and scale. What people realized was it wasn't a panacea. A lot of what you had in your original IT, you sort of lifted and shifted with you. And it's meant that they maybe experience higher costs or poorer performance. It isn't this nirvana that they'd hoped for. So we're sort of seeing, went cloud first, then you end up with this almost cloud chaos. And what we're seeing now is really a cloud operating model that we call cloud smart. Now that might encompass more than one cloud. Depending on the size of the organization, it most likely will encompass more than one cloud. But it's also showing that, organizations are bringing workloads back from the cloud, but where do they bring them back to? And when I say the cloud there, I mean, the public cloud hyperscalers, because as I say, they realized very often, specifically, it's cost that was out of control, and now they're looking for value. So it's moving not as a destination to cloud, but as to an all-encompassing operating model that allows cloud to deliver to what you require to deliver your applications to your customers or to your business internally. And I mean, and that's IT's job. They shouldn't be worrying about, what infrastructure do I buy tomorrow? How do I skill someone up to patch the infrastructure? It should just be consuming the infrastructure and how best to do that to run these applications at a value to the business, at the right performance and securely.
Absolutely. And you mentioned cost within that answer there. And I've seen you in the past kind of speak about how moving to a cloud operating model can help to relieve some of the pressures of kind of the difficult trading environment that many companies in the UK are currently grappling with. I mean, you only have to grab a newspaper or look at a news website to see some of the scary headlines out there. Can you talk through kind of what can be done kind of to relieve those pressures?
Yes, so I say we're seeing cost becomes very often the main reason that people would repatriate, right? 90% of organizations are consuming some form of cloud today. It might mean something different from one organization to the next. If you think it's quite heavy lifting very often to move to the cloud. So to actually bring something out of the cloud, you've really got to have significant drivers to do so. And where do you bring it back to? And that's where the sort of cloud being delivered on the ANS platform built on VMware is so powerful, because you bring all the advantages or perceived advantages of public cloud, pay as you go, self-service, scalability, consumption on demand, all those wonderful things, an OpEx model, right, that you're not investing in. But you also have all the benefits that you had, if you like, in your traditional on-prem environment. You've got structure, you've got security controls, you've got predictable cost, you've actually got predictable performance for those applications. So you're moving them back onto the right platform. And what we're seeing is the figures will vary with which research organization you look at. But S&P Global said that 54% of organizations repatriated workloads last year. 2 years ago, 451 Research actually had 48%. I've seen research that's higher. Obviously, it's not all the workloads that are coming back, but a significant number. Now, what we would want to work with the likes of ANS is obviously, well, there's still a lot of people still working on-prem as well. So why even let those go to the public cloud hyperscaler?
Yeah.
Just bring them straight onto the appropriate platform for the delivery of those applications. And very consistently in all these repatriation stats, it's cost is the key. The people that are interviewed, up to 96% will be citing cost factors as the reason for moving away from the hyperscaler. Yes, it's still security as well. Growing is things around sort of data gravity and sovereignty, even as people are really thinking about, well, who's looking after my data? But very much cost, that value is really key. As I say, it could be up to 96% for some organizations. That's their driver.
Definitely. And given kind of all of what we've spoken through today, with kind of these benefits, what you're seeing in the market, what organizations are looking to do, my next question for you, Ryan, is kind of how can partners go about uncovering cloud opportunities within their customer base? How can they take what we've talked through today and go out and find the opportunities?
Yeah, so I think for us, and when we spoke to a number of channel partners who are in our partner program presently today, it's really about strip it back. So at ANS as a business, we operate a very simple model, which is a navigate, launch, and evolve model. And actually, the most important part of that stage is that navigation stage. So there is no point. I'm a big believer in, if there's the hottest app or the hottest technology, there's not much point giving it to a customer if they don't actually have a need for it. So that navigate phase is the most important piece. So really understanding what the customer needs and what they want the application for, or why they want to move into this sort of cloud-based environment. I think Dave's touched on a little bit where it was kind of, we just lifted and shifted what we had and moved it into the cloud. And, we've had those horror stories about cloud costs sort of spiraling out of control, and that increased a bit of nervousness within the wider market. So it's really delving into and understanding what it is they want to use this technology for. And because that will actually shape the decision and the journey they go on. And I think, one of the things that by using sort of the VMware platform, or VMware by Broadcom, that we've done with eCloud VPC, is we've actually sort of understood that need. So we know there are customers that do operate on-prem, and we want to give them a home that gives them all the benefits of cloud, but doesn't necessarily take away that feel for them that, they're moving into an environment they can't control. So when we look at sort of our offering into the channel, which is mainly our VPC offering, so eCloud, that is very channel friendly. It's something that's completely controlled by portals and APIs, and you can obviously provide a white label service to your customers as well. But it's simple. So it's simple, scalable, and secure. And it's a good first step for somebody who's transitioning into that, wanting to move into a cloud environment. We've given them the enterprise grade UK data center experience and cloud, public cloud experience, but actually making it easy for them to consume and deliver. I think on the wider piece then about identifying the opportunities, it's really about those partnerships. This is a very, very broad conversation, and cloud encompasses many things. Digital transformation encompasses even more things across sort of cloud, security, and digital. And ANS as a business, we're very early on adopters of going to that sort of cloud first mentality. So I think if you want to get an understanding of how you transition both your business and your customers into this environment, then take a good look at what we've done as a business, because we've been through it. And that's across an enterprise customer base and an SMB customer base as well. So sort of both ends of the market. And that's why the partnerships and collaborations are so important, because actually we can take you through the many highs and also the many lows of going through this journey, but also give you a technology that's appropriate for your customer needs and work with you to identify those needs. And I think we've seen a lot of growth, particularly within that SMB estate on our eCloud platform, because these are traditionally customers that have a nervousness to move into sort of a hyperscale environment, don't fully understand what it is they are looking to achieve by moving in. So this is a great first step for them to get in, get familiar with working in the cloud, and actually the tangible benefits that brings them, and accelerating their use of applications that they can go on and deliver good sort of value business services from.
Absolutely. And finally, kind of to summarize, a question for both of you around kind of what advice would you give to channel companies looking to help their customers push those digital transformation objectives forward? And maybe if we start with you, Ryan.
Yeah, so I think for channel companies, probably it hasn't been dry January for me. I think we've had about 15 face-to-face meetings with channel partners wanting to discuss. I probably done, I think it was 300-mile round trip yesterday for a very interesting conversation with a business that is purely a connectivity play at the moment. But they have understood the need to transition into sort of IT services or look at providing cloud security and digital services. And one thing I always stress with them is, have a real good look at what's available. Don't go down the sort of the rabbit hole of, well, I should use this because of this and everyone's talking about this. It's again, I've said about understanding what your customer needs, but as a channel partner, what do you need? What is more important to you? Is it more important to you that you deliver sort of a high value public cloud service, but maybe minimize your pool of opportunity by doing so, and have to bring your business as a whole on the digital transformation journey, getting the appropriate accreditations as well with some of the hyperscalers, which is a long process? Or is for you the most important thing just getting your customers into a sort of on their digital transformation journey and doing that quickly and easily and maintaining the control for yourself? So I think as a channel partner, you've got to choose, or you've got to at least have that inward look about where you want to go. Luckily for me and for our channel program or our partner program, we fit both bills. So we can support partners on their journey with hyperscalers, but also for a partner that wants to deliver their own sort of cloud platform and badge it up as themselves and really just maximize the value of their customer base, we can work there too. But the main thing for me is for a channel partner and for that channel community, which I know very well and been in it for the last 10, 15 years, is partnerships now are more important than they ever have been. And it's collaborative partnerships that we're moving towards. So for us, it's how does a channel partner tap into ANS's skill set? How do they tap into the 400 to 550 managed service and professional services staff that we have? How do they utilize the accreditations that we've gone through with the Microsoft or AWS and the relationship that we have with Broadcom VMware? How do we get them in there and how do we enable them? That's the main thing. So yeah, I think for a channel partner, it's understand what you want to do as a business, but also understand which partner you should be working with to deliver that.
So lots of options and lots of reason to decide what's right for your business, basically there.
Yeah, and it is that sort of, there's don't just jump because it feels like everyone's jumping. Understand why you're about to jump, because 9 times out of 10, if you jump because you're going to jump, you never wanted to jump in the first place and you get left with a bag of meals. Whereas if you take that little bit of time and work with a partner that's been there, done it, or an MSP that's got those accreditations, then you'll understand why you're doing it, and also that'll maximize the opportunity for your customers as well.
Definitely. And how about you, Dave? Obviously, your position is slightly different, just given VMware's kind of style of business and what you're looking to achieve. But what would your thoughts be there?
Well, we're a channel-led business, right? That's how we go to market, particularly this segment. I think the opportunity for the partners of ANS is that actually there's more value in the managed services that get delivered over and the top of the cloud. To a degree, the cloud is just that base, right? And you don't want to worry about that. So leave that up to the experts, if you like, who've got the scale to deliver that at value, and you can consume that. And customers know they've got a problem here, right? They know they need to be changing their model of delivery. They need to be adopting cloud, but they are unsure, right? Do they just jump in and then they've heard the horror stories? So they're looking for a partner that can be their trusted advisor. I think it's 95% of organizations that they want to work this journey with a partner. So that's the value the partner brings. And then to say they can leverage the skill sets and the platforms that ANS delivers. I mean, and if that partner has particular requirements, we're seeing sustainability becoming more important. They're carbon neutral certified with VMware. They've got particular data classifications they need. They're a sovereignty cloud provider with VMware. So they're a first-class partner with a first-class platform that can be relied upon. And I think that's important for their channel partners, that they can have that security and that confidence in the discussions they have with their customers.
Absolutely. And you're completely right. Sustainability is the word on so many decision makers' lips. So it makes sense to ensure that you're working with partners that can help show those credentials or help just answer the question.
Yes.
If you're not able to be honest about what the carbon footprint is or what can be done to reduce it, it could be kind of a losing argument with some of these decision makers.
Very much so. Well, thank you very much.
Lovely. So that brings us to the end of this episode of Comms Business Live. Dave and Ryan, thanks so much for sharing your thoughts with us today.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate the opportunity to jump on.
Lovely. So if anyone watching wants to follow up with Ryan and the ANS team or to find out a bit more about VMware, there are some links in the video description to connect you with the right people. But otherwise, thanks for joining us and goodbye, everyone.